dummy grid. He eventually was able to do so. I think I heard over the radio he had no mechanical assistance, so he's not, I don't think, going to be penalised for it, but he was a bit late to join the party. Right then, it's going to be an 11-lap race, this one. And so far, 2 wins out of 2 for Rinus van Kalmthout, the driver who started on pole position. The first race was fairly dominant for him. The second race, he had to fight for it because Victor Oberg got the lead from him for a few laps and pushed him most of the way to the line, with Taylor Greenfield also involved in that battle early on. So the race results so far, race number 1 this morning, the victory went to Rinus van Kalmthout by 2.5 seconds from Victor Oberg, Taylor Greenfield in 3rd place, and then the second heat, Van Kalmthout, Oberg, and then Jeffrey Rouchet were the top 3. So there are the karts getting ready for the start of the race. It's an 11-lap race, the same grid as we had before. Van Kalmthout and Oberg on row 1, Greenfield and Rossi on row 2, and we get underway here. First time adjusting his carburettor casually still as he starts the race is Rinus van Kalmthout, but he's keeping them all at bay almost one-handed here as he goes through turn 2 and turn 3. Nipping at his heels though is Taylor Greenfield, who's had a very good start to get into 2nd place ahead of his PDB Racing teammate, which is Victor Oberg down in 3rd place. Looking further down the order as well, Jeffrey Rouchet has still not caught them up, so the kart's working, but he didn't quite catch them up in time for the start. So the 412 kart is about 6 or 7 seconds behind the race leaders already. There are the race leaders. Taylor Greenfield is up for the fight, I reckon, this weekend. He hasn't quite been able to get the kart as quick as he would like so far, but I still wouldn't entirely rule him out this weekend. He's having a big go here. He's going to possibly look for the inside line into the left-hander at turn 11, but he's not quite close enough. So through the super quick right-hander at turn 12 they go, over the start-finish line, and here's a challenge for the lead of the race. Greenfield goes through for the first time in the race. He's a leader, but fighting back down the inside of him into turn 2. Rinus van Kalmthout, clever driving that to get the lead back, and he's going to lose 2nd place here because his teammate Victor Oberg, teammate or not, will come through. Follow me, he says. He points forward. Let's try and beat him together. But Taylor Greenfield has not led so far today. Brave effort there to get ahead of Rinus van Kalmthout, but Rinus let him go, knew he was going to be deep into the corner, and simply got the place back on the way out of the turn, Matt.
Yeah, Taylor led for just the 1 corner, so at least he's led briefly, but he would have wanted to lead for a little bit longer within this race. It's been bumped down to 3rd place, as we can see, because Victor Oberg, as you said, got through into 2nd place. But can they now work together and catch the leader, Rinus van Kalmthout, who comes through this time? What has the gap increased to? It's only about half a second at the minute, so still plenty of time for those two behind to catch up as well. 4th place at the minute is going to be the Italian up there, 413, which is Giacomo Rossi, and then down in 5th place is going to be 418, the man who started right towards the back, Eric Chapon. So watch out for both of those who could have potential within this super race as well. Leaders work their way off the back straight once more, head towards the hairpin at turn 7. I just wonder if they've kind of fought themselves out a little bit too hard in the early stages and let Rinus get away now. It doesn't look like it, to be fair, because both Victor and Taylor are keeping with him as they exit turn number 9 and head down towards the other hairpin at turn 10. I think the speed is definitely with the top 3 because they haven't now pulled away from our 4th place man, the Italian Rossi, who sits there. So they're all on their way then, on towards another lap. Rinus chucks his way through. Let's see what his lap time can be, and let's see if any of those are closing down behind. Well, at 49.6 for the leader. Quickest lap, though, goes to our 2nd place man, Victor Oberg, at 49.5. The chase is definitely on.
Yeah, you get the sense that Victor knows he needs to really push on in these opening laps, because the moment Van Kalmthout gets into his stride in the middle of the race, he's going to be gone. So Oberg, that's why he's fighting so hard. That's why Taylor Greenfield's been fighting so hard in the early stages, because they know their best chance to demote Van Kalmthout is going to come in the first lap or 2 of the race. But certainly, as we said earlier on, the gap seems to be closing as the day wears on. So Van Kalmthout still winning races, but not winning by as much as he was earlier in the day. Here he is, though, at the head of the field. A familiar sight, Rinus van Kalmthout, leading a race. Whatever type of kart he drives, whatever the engine that powers him, he's right up there at the front of the field. The gap is 0.4 seconds to Victor Oberg. So the lap time's there, 49.388 for the race leader, 49.386, and the new fastest lap of the race to Victor Oberg, but he's only 0.02 of a second quicker than the race leader, so it's only by a tiny fraction that he closes the gap. Greenfield is 3rd. Rossi has had 1 good race, 1 bad race, is in 4th place. And if it stays like this, of course, with 3 wins out of 3, Van Kalmthout will be on pole. Oberg will be 2nd on the grid with 6 points, and Greenfield will be 3rd and on the inside row for that pre-final tomorrow. So we're at 1/3 distance, and Victor Oberg really fighting here to stay with the race leader and all the time pulling away from his teammate.
Yeah, but 2,000ths of a second is probably not going to be enough, is it, to try and close down on Rinus van Kamphout. As they come through that time, the gap stays about the same. In fact, that time through, Rinus van Kamphout goes through to do the quickest of anyone, so 49.216. He has responded with the quickest lap of the race. So now Rinus knows what he's got to do. He knows he needs to get his head down and get another quick lap under his belt. He can win this one, and what would be a hat-trick of wins here at the Sette Lage circuit. It's been a perfect weekend so far, but of course, as we've kept saying, the main day is tomorrow, where the points start to come and all the rest of the action comes to a close as well. Victor Oberg and Taylor Greenfield, you can see they're still in 2nd and 3rd places. That'll be good enough for them to have some good starting positions on the grid for tomorrow. Just looking at our 4th place man, Giacomo Rossi, looks to be a little bit closer now to the top 3. So I'm just wondering if the Italian is starting now to get into his stride as they come through. Let's see what the lap times are going to be this time across the line. What a great first sector from Taylor Greenfield. He's only just under a second ahead of Giacomo Rossi. 5th place is still 418, which is Eric Chapon from the back. At 6th place then, the next of the Italians, which is Giuseppe Pierotti. And then in 7th place, again, a poor race for Constantine Scholl. He's not really improved through the field, has he? He's in fact dropped back. So Constantine really struggling today as well. Sits down in 7th place.
After the sluggish start, Geoffrey Rouchet is doing his level best to try and catch the pack, and he's almost done it. So there might be some moves to come from Geoffrey Rouchet. Kart number 412, quick enough to finish in the top 3 in the 2nd heat earlier on today. You're right about Giacomo Rossi. He's catching the 2 ahead, but even if he gets past them, gets in the mix, because he had that bad 2nd heat, he's not going to be able to score enough points to get any higher up the grid than 4th, which is at the moment where the Italian will be starting the pre-final tomorrow. Van Kamphout and Oberg, the gap between them, 0.6 of a second, 49.0 for the race leader, 49.152 for Oberg. Greenfield last time around, quickest through the first sector. That's a new fastest lap then for Van Kamphout. It's only half a tenth quicker than Oberg. And once again, it shows how important that qualifying session was yesterday, because there's not much between these 3 come race day, but because he's had the better starting position, he has been able to convert the poles into, well, potentially 3 race wins. However, what's been pretty impressive, Matt, is a couple of times now in races 2 and 3, he's been overtaken, and we've seen this with Rinus before. Gets overtaken, he stays as cool as ice, and he just gets the place straight back, doesn't he?
Yeah, he certainly does. He's got the fight within him has Rinus van Kamphout, so he's a racer through and through, and if you get past, he's going to retaliate straight back, and that is what has put Rinus in some really good form this weekend. So he's doing a grand job, and it's impressive that he continues to do a lap after lap, which is near enough quicker and quicker. So it just shows the ability of Rinus, who can go lap after lap with these quicker times coming through, and the gap continues to extend out front. 0.8 of a second is now what it is. We're looking at the fight a little bit lower down here. That involves the likes of Eric Chapon, and he's starting to build a nice train behind him here. The likes of the other Italian in there, which is Giuseppe Pierotti. We've also got the likes of Scholl, we've got Ponte, and also the Belgium, who had an off 2nd heat. That is Marnik Batron again. He's found himself down in 9th place, and a man who is almost there now, just half a second adrift after catching back up with the field. Geoffrey Rouchet is down there in 10th place and looking to make up a few positions as well before this race comes to a conclusion. Yeah,
this is the battle for 5th place that you are watching. The top 4 are equidistant, not really that close to each other, but 5th, 6th, 7th, 8th and 9th now are almost nose to tail as they wind their way through the S section onto the back straight. And from the last row of the grid, Eric Chapon into 5th place, leading that battle down into turn number 7. There you go, top 4 run through. Here into the hairpin comes that little group tussling away there. The top 2 in that group, Chapon and Pierotti, have edged away a little bit because there was some infighting further back, and Bruno Ponte has gained a place up to 7th position ahead of Constantine Scholl. So those 2 switch around 7th and 8th. Batrin, who looked good at the start of the day, they're struggling in this race in 9th place. Geoffrey Rouchet likewise is not having a great race here in 10th position. The last lap board has been held aloft. 10 of the 11 are done. Rinus van Kamphout leading by 1.2 seconds. Victor Oberg in 2nd place. Taylor Greenfield in 3rd. And tomorrow, you think if you're Victor Oberg or Taylor Greenfield, you're really going to have to do something pretty special on the first lap or two of the race, because once he starts to get away from you, there's no catching this man, is that? As Rinus van Kampthoek marches on, Matt, towards a third consecutive victory in pole position for the race tomorrow.
Yeah, that's the main thing. Pole position for tomorrow. Another win to add to his belt as well here today, but those behind are really going to be up against it for tomorrow's finals as Rinus van Kampthoek comes through the final corner. It's 3 out of 3 here at Sette Laget. A win in the X30 Euro Series Super Class for that man there, 414. What a day it has been. You can't ask for much more than that. Second place goes to Victor Oberg. A great end to the day for him as well, and his teammate Taylor Greenfield comes through in what's going to be third place. Fourth place then to the Italian, which is Giacomo Rossi, ahead of the man from the back, Eric Chapon. He managed to hold all of those at bay right towards the end, which is a great job he did there. Giuseppe Pierotti comes through in what's going to be 6th place. Then the Portuguese racer also in there, Bruno Ponte, in 7th. Constantine Scholl dropped down 1 more place to 8th place, and 9th place went the way of the man who started again high up but fell down, Marnik Batran. And there was a non-finish, unfortunately, for Jeffrey Ruchet, who managed to get to the back of the field and then was a non-finisher with just 2 laps to go. But that means Rinus Verdam's Racing will start from pole position. He wins by 1.3 seconds. Victor Oberg will be the man who starts second on the grid. Third place will be Taylor Greenfield for tomorrow, and fourth place will be Giacomo Rossi. In fact, those 4 qualified in those places yesterday, and it's exactly after all the racing today how they'll start for tomorrow as well.